Better this time.
I will. My mistake, I beg your
That's
pardon.
okay, no problem.
Please.
Okay, how about family issues for 200, please?
Family issues for 200. What role should city government play in seeing that services are available for the sandwich generation, adults who are caring for both children and elder relatives?
Boy, I know this is happening a lot. I think one of the big things for children taking care of their parents is knowing where resources are available. I think that's paramount because they get raising children, they have a job, and they're taking care of an elder person also. And I think the government can help sponsor and co-sponsor. I know that we have done programs that are mutually, like with the community service van, the city takes care of the maintenance, so it's actually dollars. But ways to assist the community in helping these folks find out ways to take care of the elderly, because they do have certain financial issues that face them that are just paramount, and it's very difficult until you go through it to understand where to go for help and maybe help alleviate that. And there's FRA has the adult center for people for care too, and just get the word out. Thank you.
Thank you, and I apologize again for skipping ahead. Okay, now we're into closing arguments. 90 seconds. Thank you. The prompt for the final question was, what health and social services will you work on if elected to office? You certainly may elaborate on that as you prefer. 90 seconds. Mr. Attorney, it is your turn first.
Okay, as far as health and services, I'll be beating the doors down on the mental health land trust. I think that's where the dollars are when it comes to social ills of our community. And my primary interest is to make government work for everybody. My first priority will be asking for the resignation of the assistant to the mayor, Pat Cole, and also Herb Coos, the top city attorney. Also, I'll be asking for a charter change for the election of the chief of police, and also I'll be supporting a need for a commission to consolidate and do away with the city form of government turned into a service area. We have a permit gun here over 100 million. We want to leave that into the service area and keep the infrastructure of the city, the police, fire, and public works in the city. Turn this into a service area. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Falk.
Well, as I said earlier, it's the obligation of the state to provide for health and social services, and the financing should go to that obligation. And Frank Tony is in somewhat right, saying, well, taxes, resources of the state to provide for that money-wise. The other thing is, and that's the main problem, to put money in the hands of the people, the individuals, so they could provide for themselves. And the only immediate thing we could do is have that extension of the owner-occupied residential property. And there is virtually no one that could argue the thing, no one effectively on a local level, on a legislative level, on a judicial level. I know how to deal with this thing, and I'm a man of action. I don't say very much, and I'm misunderstood many times, and all those kind of things. There is no one that could deal with this thing effectively on all three levels, and I should be elected to both the city and the board, because it's a, in the sales tax issue, you know, it's not going to take care of it. You move it from one place to the other, and the consumer, right now, they pay the taxes for the property owner, and then they just pay the taxes in form of sales tax, the same thing. There's no difference. The only answer to more money into the individual hands is the exemption, raising the exemption. If you want to continue, elect my, as it was, elect my opponent. If you like to have a change for the better, you got to go with me. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Thompson.
Because of limited powers and also limited funds, it's rather difficult for the city to get directly involved. The city needs to advocate to Juneau for funding and block grant money. The city does sign off on grants, pass-through grants from the federal and state governments and different agencies at the present time, and we need to really enhance that and go after those type of things. The city owns the senior center. We advocate for building onto that because Meals on Wheels comes out of there. And they have one of the smallest kitchens and provide incredible amount of meals every single day. And a lot of those shut-ins that have Meals on Wheels visit, that's the only adult, the only people they talk to all day long. We need to expand that kitchen area because it is no bigger than most people's home kitchens, and they provide thousands of meals per month. And so there's a lot of things like that would really help our community, and those things we can get involved in. And I signed off on a grant application today for a Fairbanks Rescue Mission for one of their substance abuse programs, where they're applying for a grant for that. Those are the types of things that the city can do and can get involved in and help some of the situations in our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Everhart.
One of the things I learned when I was on city council is that there are many issues. And sometimes in this campaign it sounds like the only issue is taxes. Well, there are many issues, from Americans with Disabilities Act issues and curb cuts, for example, and keeping your sidewalks cleared in the winter so people can get around, including disabled people, to the problems of the chronic inebriates. As the mayor said, there are limited powers. However, indirectly at least, the city can do a lot of things. Let me give you a couple of examples. When the Community Service Patrol ran into funding problems, as has been mentioned, the city and the borough were able to help contribute funds. It's amazing how the links in this community cross. At a recent Golden Heart project meeting, it was made known that the Downtown Association, which now runs a Community Service Patrol van, needs another van for during the Alaska Federation of Natives in October. So FNA, for example, is looking into trying to get them another van. The city has been providing the maintenance on the current van. So, you know, the links and the cooperation is really quite astounding. And so there are a lot of things indirectly that the city can do, even though it may not directly be able to do them. Public safety, that's another part of it. The mayor's mentioned a couple of things, grants to try to assist substance abuse programs and otherwise. So those are the sort of things that, you know, we have to look at issue by issue as they come before city council to see if we can help. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Miles.
Property tax exemptions. You've heard that from every forum that I've attended. Everybody's in favor of property tax exemptions, but nobody has a plan to replace that money. Revenue sharing. You keep asking the state of Alaska for revenue sharing, and they've denied it the last 5 years. They turn it down. They're not there. Problems in the city of Fairbanks. We have 33,000 people here in the nighttime population. We go up to 55 to 60,000 every day. Property owners are subsidizing the business sector, and they're subsidizing the tourist industry with their personal property tax, and no one's representing them. That's my intent, is to represent the 8,000 families of this city. Thank you.
Thank you.